in the red grasslands of Kruger National Park. The sun blazed like a furnace over the cracked earth. Two lions wandered side by side, one a majestic male with fading mane, the other a vigilant young lioness with fierce eyes. Their paws dragged across dry ground, searching not for prey, but for water, any trace of it. Each step burned like fire on their feet, the heat warping the air around them. Finally, shimmering in the distance, a muddy puddle appeared like a forgotten miracle. They approached. First a lioness, who knelt and drank slowly, eyes half closed in relief. The male stayed alert, always watching, always guarding. But behind them, the tall grass shifted, silent, careful, predatory. A giant reticulated python slithered out of the bush, its body gleaming in the fire-orange light. The lioness heard the faint hiss and turned. She didn't flinch. She walked forward and sniffed the snake's head. The python raised itself, tongue flickering, its coils rippling with tension. With a sudden snarl, the lioness lunged and gripped the snake's head in her jaws. The python writhed violently, its tail flailing, body twisting in pain. The male lion roared and bit his mate's tail, trying to pull her back from danger, but it was too late. The python struck, coiling its body in one swift motion around the lioness. She roared in agony as the coils tightened around her torso, stealing her breath. Her legs kicked in the air, her claws dug into the ground, but the snake only squeezed harder. The male circled helplessly, roaring into the wind, fear and rage clashing in his eyes. The lioness's breathing became shallow, her roars turning to choked gasps. Her eyes dimmed under the crushing weight. Death crept closer. Then, engine sounds in the distance. Rangers David Mcona and Jack Harris were patrolling when they heard the desperate cry. David hit the brakes and listened again. Something wasn't right. "That's not a normal roar," he said. "That's a call for help." They sped toward the sound, dirt flying behind their truck. When they arrived, they froze, staring at the brutal scene in the field. The python had nearly crushed the lioness. The male lion stood nearby, howling in fury. Jack grabbed two long sticks. David took the first aid kit and a rescue blade. They approached carefully, step by step, not to startle the python or the male lion. The snake raised its head at the approaching men, tongue hissing, eyes alert. David shouted distracted, while Jack struck the python's back with a firm tap. The snake reacted, loosening slightly, just enough. Jack targeted the coil near the lioness's chest and struck it sharply. David used a stick to lever the coil outward, 1 inch of relief at a time. The male lion stepped back slowly, sensing the humans meant no harm. Sweat poured down David's face as he pulled the final loop off the lioness. The python hissed in fury and slithered off into the bushes, defeated. The lioness lay still, her body limp, her chest barely moving. Both rangers knelt beside her, checking her pulse, holding their breath. "She's alive," David said. "Unconscious. We still have time." Jack poured water gently over her face, hoping she would stir. When she didn't, David pulled out an emergency stimulant for large animals. He injected it into her hind leg, while Jack steadied her body. The male lion watched in silence, unmoving, his eyes locked on her. Moments passed, tense, unbearable. Then her paw twitched. Her chest rose slightly. Her eyes fluttered open, dazed but conscious. The male lion stepped forward and licked her gently, once across the face. She blinked, weak but alive. Supported by her mate, she slowly sat up in the dust. The ranger stepped back, relieved. They watched in silence as the lioness regained her footing. Without panic, without roar, the two lions turned and walked away. Together, through golden dust and sunlit silence, they disappeared into the tall grass. Their footprints remained, etched into the earth, a quiet record of a near-death moment and an unforgettable rescue. Back at the station, David stared at the GPS signal from her collar. "She's moving," he whispered. In Kruger, life is a war of inches, a war of instincts, and sometimes a war of trust. And on that day, trust saved her life.